Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com and I am here to bring you a live paper crafting class here on YouTube. I'm excited to share as always. I love to share and I'm hoping that you're looking forward to seeing this fun card idea too. It's called a double slider card. Before I begin though, I want to apologize for last week. I was in the midst of helping for this team event that we had. It was a huge team event and I just could not find the time to put towards doing the live that week. So sorry about that, everyone. I had to take a break, but I am back and I'm super excited. So another thing before we begin, still kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. Just things are going on. I have a 35-year class reunion coming up on Saturday, and so there's extra things on my to-do list. And then the new catalog went live yesterday, the new mini catalog and celebration. So it was kind of a crazy day for me. So I need to ask Trisha an extra favor. And I'm asking it to her now. I see she's on with us, so yay. Trisha, who is my moderator and helps us with answering questions and guiding us to the right places and all that stuff. I don't know if you noticed this, Trisha, but I was putting in things in the, I was editing the description for this video, like seriously 10 minutes before, trying to get the supply list in there and that sort of thing, so it would help you out. Because she refers to that often. And by the way, you can refer to that too. The description of the video has supply lists and stuff. But anyways, Trisha, would you mind going back to 2 weeks ago when I did my last live and picking a winner from the after live comments? I know you know how to do all that random winner picking, and I just didn't get a chance to do it. So I'm going to need you to help me out if you can. Okay, housekeeping done. So what are we doing today? We are doing a double slider card. And a double slider card is basically a card that has two pieces that slide. There are other double slider cards out there. I did like a Pinterest search for it, and there's like other fun fold cards that have that name. But more than often, I found this card with that name. So hopefully that's the name that you'll be able to do some searching for if you want to find others that are out there. So it is Wednesday. Today is August 4th. Happy birthday to my mom. At 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. So if you're watching this live after, if you're watching the recording afterwards, then you'll know when the live actually took place. And I do my lives pretty much every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Sorry again about last week. So on that note, let's go to the supply list, because another thing that I just didn't have time for was to do some screenshots of the comments from last video. I know I had 2 weeks, right? It's been an interesting summer. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Oh, you know what? I don't even know if I connected that camera yet. Hang on. Display on my MacBook. It's gonna come up. So we're gonna connect the supply and measurement list to our screen here so that you can see the list of things that you would need. Now, some of you are gung-ho and you craft along with me. Chime out if you do that. If you actually grab these supplies and you quick cut them and you try to work as we go, you're crazy, by the way, if you do that. But if you'd like to, there they are. The measurements are to the right and the supplies are listed to the left. By the way, this video is connected to a blog hop. And the blog hop is international. So I want to apologize right here and now for another thing that I didn't have time for, and that was to make a metric equivalent card using A4 size paper. I'm so sorry about that. That was my intention and I just didn't do it. But on that note, the tutorial group that I'm in, it's called the All-Star Group. We do a blog hop every month, the first Wednesday of every month. And we highlight the suite that we are featuring in our tutorial bundle. So that tutorial bundle is the hand pen bundle. Such a pretty bundle of products. You have the hand pen petals stamp set, as you can see on the left there, the penned flowers dies, the hand penned designer paper. There's also this embellishment called Genial Gems in there. I'm not using them. I'm going to be using some, I think they're called Brush Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. They're new. They just debuted yesterday, and they go really well with the gold and rose gold specialty metallic paper. So I'm going to be showing those in the project. We'll have some basic white and basic black cardstock, and then some colors of inks that will go really well with the florals that I picked out from, or I picked out a certain pack of designer paper from this pack of designer paper. I picked out a certain sheet, I should say, and I'm going to show those papers to you right now. Grab those. Everything's stacked randomly too. Oh my gosh, it's been an interesting last couple of weeks. All right, so I'm fanning these out on the table, and here we go. So there you can see the beautiful papers. They look like they're all one because they're so similar on one side. This is the actual sheet that I'm going to feature today. You can see that there's Pale Papaya for the orangey color. There's Blushing Bride, which is the pinky color. And then it says Garden Green in the description of the colors for this pack of paper. But I have to tell you that I found that it's close to just Jade too. Interesting, right? It does look very, like I would pick Garden Green right away. But when I compared it with my stamped just Jade, so that's what I'm going to use today. And then you'll be able to see the difference in the two cards. It's like it's an in-between of the two colors. It's kind of funky. But there are other florals. So let me kind of just go through those quickly. Again, beautiful papers. It reminds me of my grandmother's drawings that she used to do. Just kind of sentimental in that way for me. So these are the beautiful hand pen papers. It looks like someone took a pen and drew out the outline and then colored them in. Just gorgeous flowers. That's one of my favorites, the purple and yellow. And then this one. And then on the flip side, and I'm going to show you this flip side first because we're going to be using the flip side of this one, which has a pale papaya look to it. You can see that it has kind of a coordinating color with the front side. So purple and purple, or the Highland Heather, sorry. And then we have this pretty color with the garden green. So that's a garden green design. And then this one, oh yeah, this one has the Blushing Bride color. So very wedding-ish is what I picture on that piece. This one here has the mint macaron, so that's another green that's in there, which is probably why the garden looks so close to just jade, because mint and jade are very similar. And then we have the Daffodil Delight on the flip side of that piece. Now, let me show you the stamp set and the dies that we're featuring, and then I'll show you the actual card. So this is the bundle that goes with the suite. So when you buy a bundle, a stamp set and a die combo, or a stamp set and a punch bundle, you actually save 10%. Anytime you see a bundle in the selection of Stampin' Up! Products, if they're bundled together, you know you're going to be saving money to buy them together. So if you love them both, get them both at the same time. Hand pen petals, you can see that there's an outline, kind of like the pen. And then here's the painting, the watercolor washed coloring pieces that would go on the inside. And you'd think that there would be a zillion flowers, but look at, there's only 4 that fill in all of these different ones here. I had done a video on this set a while back, so you already know if you watch that one how they kind of pair up. But and then this one goes here along with that one to go there. They're not supposed to be a perfect match. So just so you know, it's supposed to look like a watercolory fill-in. You've got 4 sentiments in there. We've got a couple leaves in there. This little speckly stuff that can go on the top of there. And then we've got dies to match. I'm going to pull them out of my little sleeve here. By the way, this sleeve and this magnet sheet are listed in the supply list of, well, not the supply list, but the description of my video. So I know a lot of you ask me where I get my magnetic sheets and little envelope things. And those are from Stampin' Storage. Gotta love Stampin' Storage. So this die we're going to use today, because it's going to coordinate with the stamp we're going to punch. And this die we're going to use. It's a border punch. But you can see how the other ones just kind of do like either outlines or sorry, like a detailed, I should say. And here's an outline. This would be more like a framelit. So fun dies to go with it. Okay, we'll set that back there. Then the card. Here it is. So obviously you've seen a peek of it in the description of the video before we went live. This is how it works. So you can hold it on the side and you just pull and it magically, did you see that? So cool. It just magically like pulls the other one out when you pull the first one. And you can do it the other way too if you want to. They're connected by a super simple mechanism. So it's just the layering. That's the part that's probably the most confusing is you can see there's multiple layers here. So it's a very thick card. Some people even make these into boxes. In fact, I'll show you one from Wendy Lee that was a swap a while back. So this, and I don't even know if it was necessarily a box, but you can see she made it really, really tall. It looks like it could be a box. In fact, maybe she even had like a candy bar inside. She probably did, because knowing her, she would gift too. She's such a sweetheart. She's also on the tutorial team. Okay, so watch this. You pull, and there's the little message. Now, this one's a little old and battered, so it doesn't slide as smoothly, but it's the same mechanism. It's a loop of cellophane plastic. Like, it's so cool. And here's one that I got recently. Look at this one. Watch this. Ta-da! So cool. So, Teresa, thank you so much for this card. Yay! All right, we're going to go ahead and start then. I think we got the supply list handy. I'm just going to load comments here because I want to see comments rolling in as I'm talking to you. So bummed that you lost the leaf stamp. Who was that? Oh, Carol, I'm so sorry. Don't lose your stamps, you guys. I know, photopolymer, which is what this is. They're see-through for one thing. So you got these clear stamps on here. And my guess, Carol, is that it's stuck to the bottom of an ink pad or some other item that you had on your desk because they stick to anything and everything. And I have done some searches for mine too. So that's another reason why it's good to have a sort of clean desk. Anyways, okay, so here we go. What are the pieces that we'll need for this card? You're going to need 3 layers for your sandwich. So there's going to be dimensionals in between all of these pieces. This is going to be the main sandwich. This piece is going to be inside, and it's going to have the cellophane loop that goes around and around and around. And then these pieces are going to hide the cellophane, the front and the back. The back is what you can write on, because a lot of you are like, where can you write? You could totally do it where you write here, you know, leave it blank or something. Or just flip it over, maybe have another sentiment on the back side or another stamped image. But that would be the back. And then you could have a white for the front too. You could make it a very simple slider. But we're going to make it a little elaborate. So we're going to have a black layer for the back side of our front. And on top of that will be a white layer. And on top of that will be a designer paper layer. Okay, and they're all just slightly shorter than the one underneath. Let me give you the measurements really quick. This one, or these two, actually these 3, because they're all the same size. These 3 are all 4 1/4 inches wide because, hang on, here it is. Because this card does fit in the medium size envelope. Okay, so they're 4 1/4 inches wide, or tall, and then wide, I made them just slightly wider, 4 1/2 inches, but you could adjust that. This part is adjustable. Then the layers here, this one is 4 inches wide by 4 1/4, so it's a 1/4 of an inch difference. And then we've got this one that's in between, so we're dealing with eighths. Okay, this one is 4 1/8 by 4 3/8. So that's how those go. And then we've got the parts that slide in and out. And those are mainly done with 2 pieces that are also 4 1/2 inches wide. I just chose the same size, by 3 inches tall. And that helps for my 4 by 3 pieces of designer paper to fit real nicely on here. And I'm not going to bring the designer paper all the way in because part of this you don't even see. It won't slide all the way out. So keep that in mind as you're decorating these slider pieces. This piece here I wanted to expose because I want to have some decorative metallic specialty paper. So this is part of our gold and rose gold specialty metallic paper. I'm using the gold version and I'm using the gold dots. So let me show you those real quick. So here is a sheet each of the gold and rose gold, and there's actually a directional little swipey look to them. So depending on how they're rotated, the sheen is different. It's kind of funky and cool. But very pretty colors. And if you look at this is a new product that we have that just debuted in the mini catalog. It's called the Brush Metallic Adhesive Back Dots, the gold, and this one right here, the rosish gold. They're awesome together. So I highly recommend those two together. I want to show you another product too that's new, and this is one that you can earn. So if you are somebody who wants to purchase, who doesn't want to purchase? Here we go. Let's just put that up real quick. There you go. If you want to shop, you can go to my blog at stampyourartout.com. But yes, if you want to purchase product, starting yesterday all the way through September 30th, you can pick a free product from the celebration picks of products. There's picks at the $50 level, and there's picks at the $100 level. So if you purchase $50 worth of product, you get a pack of designer paper that coordinates with the hand pen suite. It's called Beautifully Penned, and you get 4 of each of these 3 designs, and they're double-sided, so you can see that. And they coordinate super well. They have similar designs, similar imagery, just gorgeous black and white paper that you could take and add color to with blending brushes, or you could spritz, or you could just color in parts of it. Really pretty. So I had to show that to you. Okay. In fact, let me just pull this out because now I can show the inside. This is the celebration brochure. And here are some free goodies that you can pick from: the dazzling paper, which is 6x6. This paper, which is the Penguin Playmates. There's the hand pen, or beautifully penned, I should say. Then there's stamp sets in there too. So really, I mean, you're getting a huge value for your $50 purchase, you know? And then there's some items that are free with, oh, that one's free with 50. Dies, a set of dies. There's a couple in here that are free with a $100 purchase. And here, the Summer Shadow dies, which I shared when I was doing the inked, the alcohol ink technique. So that's free with a $100. And this really huge, you can't tell from the catalog, but this is a really huge set of stamps, and that's free with the $100 purchase also. Lots of stuff, lots of stuff, lots of stuff. Okay, I'm just oohing and ahhing over all the fun goodies. Cellophane bag. You're going to need a cellophane bag too. That's really hard to see. All of a sudden it got blurry. The cellophane bag is going to be the part that's the mechanism that moves those pieces. So let's start with our trimmer. Push these out of the way, and we're just going to trim this up. By the way, you also need a scrap of black and a scrap of the gold foil metallic paper, gold specialty metallic paper. So we're just going to trim this bag. This is one of our bags. It's called, I just wanted a long piece of plastic. You're not going to see it. These are called our 3x9 printed gusseted cellophane bags, but you could use any cellophane bag that's long enough. I want my bag to be about 8 inches, but again, the loop could be shorter depending on how you put it together. So I'm just going to trim off about 1/4 inch on each edge here, and that's going to open up my bag and give me 2 pieces eventually. So let's turn it this way and trim off 1/4 inch on that side. I'm using the measurements on this side of my trimmer to trim. Okay, so I've got this now. See, it's all kind of coming apart. And then I'm going to cut this way, and I'm going to cut at 8 inches because that's about what I need for mine. And I say about because it's not an exact measurement. You don't have to make it exact. In fact, I may even trim off some. I'm not sure. But now we have enough to make 2 cards. And gosh, if you wanted to, you could make 2 more with these pieces. They don't even have to be exactly that wide. We need the trimmer one more time, and we're going to trim the inside piece. Let's get rid of all these layers. These are all layers. Here's our main base again. So the same 3 pieces that are all the same size, our white, and our black. And again, they're all 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. We're going to take the one that goes in the middle, the one that's going to hold on to the cellophane bag piece. And we're going to trim. So I'm going to bring it in about 1/2 inch. I'm looking at the 1/2 inch side here. And I'm going to trim, I don't know, just a slit that will take this bag. This bag is now 2 1/2 inches. So if we take 2 1/2 away from 4 1/4, that brings us to 1 3/4. Yeah, so we have about 1 3/4 inches to work with on the edges. So I think I'm going to start in about 3/4 inch here and just make a little slit to about 3/4 inch away from there. And that's going to allow my bag to come in. That is really far away. Hang on a minute. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to turn it and bring it back to that 1/2 inch mark. By the way, this card might be a little advanced for some beginners, but hopefully if you're a beginner, you can still give it a go with my directions. I don't know. So we're going to start about 3/4 of an inch up, which brings us to the 3.5 inch mark. And we're going to push, and we're going to cut all the way to this piece here. So 3/4 of an inch away. And now we've got 2 little slits on there, and that's where we're going to feed our bag into. We're just going to go like this and like that, and we're going to loop them together in the back with some tape. That's it. That's seriously what it is that makes that card. Let's do some die cutting. So we're going to take a break from that for just a minute, and we're going to do some die cutting on this piece and on this piece because we need to do some stamping. So we're going to bring out the big Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. You guys are like, what? You're not going to make the mechanism yet? No, I'm going to get you excited about it. And then I'm just going to leave you in the dirt. No, I'm just kidding. We got to do the stamping first. It's just the way it is. So we're going to bring in this piece. And remember, the card is wider than it is taller. So we'll position it here in my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. And we're going to die cut. And if it helps to bring your stamp image in so you can see it, you know, I'm going to position it this way. And I just need to center it. So I'll probably grab some little sticky notes here too, just to make sure it doesn't move on me, because that would be fun. The least mistakes as possible, right? That's what Rachel wants on this video. There's always something that goes awry. Okay, so now we've got it all sandwiched together. We've got our number 1 plate, then our number 2 die adapter, and then our 3 cutting plates that are sandwiching the paper and the die. Hang on, there we go. Stacked them all again. So guide them through, grab your handle, there's a handle here, and you crank it. And those little rollers on the top and the bottom squish that stuff together, and you make pasta. Just kidding. You die cut the paper. It's so cool. So now this metal die is removed to this piece, which you could totally use for another card, right? So don't throw that away because it's really kind of cool. You could stamp on it. You could line that clear stamp back up on this piece and have your outline image there. We're going to keep that, and now we're going to take our other paper. This is our gold specialty metallic or metallic specialty, however it's said, metallic specialty paper. And we're going to grab our other die, and that one is this border die. Now if you look closely at this border die, you can see that there's no sharp edge here. So that means we could put this along the bottom of a card layer, and it won't cut this whole piece. It'll just cut the edge and do a little bit of a stitch. Okay, so yay, right? So we're going to go in a bit. We're going to go this way, and we're going to go in a bit so that we make a thicker piece. I don't want a 1/4 inch wide strip. I want to have a 1/2 inch wide strip. And that will give me a little bit of a leeway for my layering. So this will go in like this. Again, sticky notes are a blessing. And we'll just crank that through. Okay. And now we have a separation. You can see it didn't cut along that other edge there. You can also see it didn't cut all the way because it's just slightly smaller than this pretty paper. So what we need to do now, that's my catch-all table back there. What we need to do now is just take a paper snips and do a quick little snippet there and a snippet there. In fact, we're going to cut these 2 in half. Because this is specialty paper, it doesn't come apart as easily as cardstock, but still will come apart. And these can go back there now. Okay, keeping the desk clean, it's important. All right, so you can see on the finished card that we've taken and cut that piece in half, right about there, because our piece was 6 inches long. So we can cut it right down the middle with our snips, just like that. In fact, because these have nice little edges to them, let's go ahead and do the same thing on this edge. Let's just, I know it's trimming off a little bit, but that's okay because you can see a slight white on both sides there. And I thought it was better to have them look uniform on each side than not. So those pieces are ready. We're going to bring this piece back in and looking at our sandwich again here. Oh, where is it? Here it is. So this is going to go in between. This is the next smallest. Okay, so this is our sandwich, and this is the white piece that's going to get layered onto our black. So we need now to stamp our image right inside there. Now you could do it without the stamparatus, but I'm going to recommend the stamparatus tool. It will line it up real nice, and you can see how there's like a little bit of a lift there. So there's a shadow. This designer paper layer here is actually lifted up, and it creates a really fun shadow in there. Maybe if I turn this way, easier to see that way. Kind of cool, right? So let's bring in the stamparatus. So you get a couple plates with it. I've already got my stamp waiting here. And I've got a magnet sitting on top. Keep your magnets separated from each other. Here's my other magnet. I'm going to put that over there on my desk. And I've got my little layers here ready to go because I'm using the photopolymer, so I want to have this thicker layer up on top. I'm going to grab my plate and bring that in. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to the side with this because then you can see more of what I'm doing. There. Okay, so let's take this piece and let us lay these together like that. And I'm using the grid marks that are on this foam little lifter piece here as a guide. So keeping your magnets far away from each other because when they come together, they crash and they break. This piece now is going to go right inside, and it's clean. Make sure it's clean. I've already used mine, so it's stained a little bit, but there is a little bit of a give. You can see as I shift this, in fact, let me zoom in. You can see that there's a little bit of a give because there is that white outline around the image. So when you put it on here, just know that you can get off slightly if you don't work hard to center it. So center it as best you can. You may have to kind of go to the side and check to see what it looks like. Once you believe it's in the right place, you come down on top, you grab that stamp. So because it's sticky, this plate is going to lift it up. And I have a magnet on each side, but you can see it's already like grabbing onto that paper. So I have to shift that paper back into the grid area. Make sure, you know what, I'm going to do it again just to make sure because I don't know if I had this lined up. Make sure everything's lined up because we don't want this to look bad. Oh, it's handmade, Rachel, right? It's okay. I just want it to look like the one that I did in the photo that I took, you know? Okay, that looks pretty good. Now don't stick to the paper so much. Maybe if I grab it lightly. Nope, I have to grab it. There. Did you see that? I stuck my little scissors in there to help stick it down. Okay, now we can take this paper away if you want to. You don't have to, but I'm just going to get it out of there just so I don't risk stamping on it in case it's off slightly. That would be horrible because then we'd have to die cut all over again too. All right, so that piece is out of there. And now we can come in with our ink. Zoom out a bit again. And that's all stuck down. Grab our ink. We're going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And we just ink this up. And I'm going to show you an advantage to this. So we're going to stamp it down. We're going to press. We're going to lift up. Oh no, I didn't get the whole image. Haha, but I did it with the stamparatus. So you can come back in, you can ink again, and it will put it exactly back in the same spot. It's such an awesome tool. If you are one of those people that does mass producing of cards, wedding cards or Christmas cards, or you like to make all your birthday cards all at once, this tool is a must-have for mass producing. It also does lots of other things, but love it. Okay, so we are done with that. I'm gonna put one of these magnets underneath, get it out of the way. In fact, there is a home for both of these magnets. Let me show you. So if you flip it over, this is where the magnets sit. Cool. So that's ready to set behind us. We don't need that anymore. We didn't need our second plate for anything because the rest of it we're going to stamp by hand. So I'm going to bring in all of those stamps that are already mounted onto our clear blocks. And why are we doing them by hand? Because we're going to do some daubing, and I just thought, you know, it's easier for me to lift things up and down to the camera that way. But yes, you could totally just use the stamparatus to hold all these stamps. So we're going to bring in some inks. We're using Blushing Bride, Pale Papaya. Those are the two for our floral colors. Let's just have this one handy as we do it. And then we're also going to use, I used Garden Green on my finished card, but we're going to use the Just Jade this time. This grid paper is going to come in handy. I don't think I listed it in the supplies, but we have lots of different kinds of grid paper. We'll start with the green. For the green, just cleaned off my stamp here, make sure it's clean. Okay, so for the green, when we ink it up, you'll notice that stamping it down makes a really, really dark leaf. We don't want a dark leaf. We want a lighter leaf. This one here is actually stamped off, even though it's darker. So we're going to stamp off like that, and then we're going to come back in with the stamp. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm turned it the right way. Oh yeah, this is the way I had it. And we're going to stamp it down. Ta-da! See, it creates a much lighter green. We'll do that again, but this time when I stamp that other large leaf, oops, gotta stamp it full. I'm going to stamp it off just one more time so it's slightly lighter, and I didn't press really hard, and then I'm going to come in. So now I got just a slightly lighter green on the second one. We're done with this stamp. Those are the only two big stamps there. Let's work with the smaller leaf. Don't tell me I've lost a leaf. Oh, it's right here. We just talked about that. Okay, so we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to stamp on. And without re-inking, I'm just going to stamp one more time like that. So you get the two colors directly like that. So you don't even have to stamp off onto your scrap paper too many times. We'll stamp off, stamp on. Okay, so this is fairly simple, right? You're like, why didn't you do that with the stamparatus? Well, because you can, right? But, oh, that's it. That's it for the leaves. But with the flowers, I thought it would be kind of cool to get more of that watercolory look. And the watercolory look looks like it's darker on one side and lighter on the other. So we're going to bring in a tool called daubers. I did have it for the green, but I think I just had it in Garden Green. So let's go ahead and do some dauber stuff now. We'll put away our Just Jade ink, and we'll bring in our Blushing Bride as I put my hand down into the ink pad. I have Blushing Bride on today for my shirt. If you guys are picking out which color I was going to match with. And did you notice my nails? Yeah, I kind of got back into nails. I know. I'm loving it though. Plus I have a reunion this weekend. Okay, so we're going to stamp off to remove some of that dark color. Now it already has kind of a watercolory look to it, as you can see, kind of dark and light. But I didn't want it that dark, and when I stamped it off and then stamped it on my scrap paper, it wasn't the same. It didn't look like the paper. So we're going to come in now, and we're just going to do kind of an additional blotching of some ink. We're just going to add some additional Blushing Bride. Stamp it down. See, it doesn't line up, but it lines up enough. And now you get that slightly darker with that gradient look in it. That stamp is done because we only have one big flower. We're going to do, oops, that's going to be Pale Papaya. That one's going to be Pale Papaya. And this one's going to be double the colors. Let me show you that in a minute here. Let's bring in the Pale Papaya first. And we'll do this piece, ink, stamp off, come back in with color. So again, you're just kind of adding here and there. You're not doing the whole thing. And then you're stamping it down. You get kind of that multi-colored look. Same thing with this one. Stamp off, come in and just do parts. Okay, and then we'll stamp it down. And again, it doesn't line up completely. That one I got a little dark. I pushed a little hard. Okay, now this one, we're going to do half and half. So basically you just ink up your stamp halfway with one color, and then you turn it around and you ink up the other half. And then you use your little guys here. Oh wait, stamp it off. See, there's a separation there. But when you daub, and you come back in with the dauber, you actually can kind of do a blending there. It's so cool. Daubers are fun. All right. And if you feel like you've taken too long to work with the stamp, going like that moistens the ink again, makes it nice and fresh. So we'll stamp those two together, and then we'll do the same thing again, making sure that we ink up our stamps in about the same spots. If you're working with a really dark and a really light ink, that's when you need to be really careful with this technique. But these inks are pretty similar in intensity to each other. So, okay, there we go. Stamp that down. So fun. Okay, we'll put these back here on our catch-all table. All right, next, we get to do some stamping and embossing. And you don't have to do all these fancy techniques. I'm showing some advanced stuff today. Gosh, the last time I did a video, it was super basic. Oh, good, it does line up. It was super basic, but this one is more advanced, but it's such a simple mechanism that really you can apply this idea to any card that you want, and you can keep it super simple, just as long as you have that loop in there. Let's stamp one of our sentiments with Versamark sticky ink. But yes, I'm throwing in all the other fun, fancy stuff that you can do. We're stamping on a piece of scrap black. Right now you cannot see it unless you kind of angle it in the light. Possibly, there it is. And then we'll take and grab our white Stampin' Emboss powder. We'll angle it back into our container. This is just like one of those, you know, little plastic containers that you put your lunch food in or whatever. We've got it tapped off into the excess tapped off, and now we're ready to emboss. So there's white powder on top of that sticky ink. It just grabs to the sticky ink areas. Heat gun. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to grab the heat tool. We're going to turn it to the 2, which is the high heat. And we're just going to wiggle it back and forth. And it's going to start to heat that up. Now you can see I have a long strip here. So I was able to do like an area where I could hold on to it. All of a sudden I had this thought in my head, like, do I have the microphone in? And I do. Thank goodness. I've been having issues with my microphone, and I don't know if it's on all of my lives or just my pre-recorded or whatever. You guys are okay with the sound, right? I should have checked that in the beginning. But there you have it. There's my fun little embossed image. So because there's like this 30-second delay, I'm going to find the answer to my question soon, but not right away. So let me know if my microphone is sounding grainy, because I can't tell on this end. After you've done that, you're going to take your double oval punch, or you can just, you know, cut a piece out. You don't, again, have to have all these tools to do this double slider. But to make this double slider, you do. So now we've punched that piece out. We have that ready to go. And we have another piece that's ready to go. And we have all of these. Let's clear this grid paper away, because it's now, in my mind, a little bit of a distraction with all those stamped images on there. I'm a neat freak. Okay, here we go. We need our dimensionals. We need our, take your pick tool, our seal, and our sample card so we can put this together. So let's work with the double slider part first. We're going to come back to that now. And you can see that we've got our cellophane piece going through the slits. We need to connect them. The issue is when you connect them, you can only go so far before the bags catch on the edges there. At least the way I've done it. If you make these slits wider, it might work. It might not, who knows. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that my overlap here isn't that big. So I'm going to take and I'm just going to trim off a little bit here. I don't need much of an overlap. I'm just going to trim, so maybe at 7 and, oh my gosh, my scissors is gummy for some reason. Oh, look at that. It's got some gummy stuff on it. Clean your scissors every once in a while with rubbing alcohol. That'll help. Or Goo Gone. Goo Gone works too. Okay, let's take our tear and tape adhesive and we're going to connect. It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to put this black paper under here just so you can see where I'm putting the tape. Okay, so I'm just connecting them. And don't worry about which section goes on top and which section goes on the bottom. Ah, that's why I have gumminess on my scissors, because I use it for my tape. Crazy Rachel. So let's pick this layer off here. Let's put those two pieces together and overlap them so they're lined up like that. Okay, now it will slide. But you can see it's going to catch here. This little part is wanting to, you know, like, so don't worry about that. We're gonna deal with that. In fact, because that's going in that direction, I think I'm gonna turn it this way. And I'm gonna make this the stopper part. This is where it's gonna end. So if it's gonna end there, then, and I have to remember how I did this. Okay, so it's gonna open so wide and then it's gonna come back. And I think what I did, I think I started with it this way, and I put it on. I'm just going to, forgive me for a minute. It's been about a week since I designed this, so I just want to make sure I do this right. I'm putting just a little bit of adhesive there. This is going right up to that score line there, or that cut line, because that way it's going to fit into our card. That was my determiner of how big these pieces should be. So I have one for the back side and one for the front side, and together, if they connect like that, they're going to make the width of the card. But let's just work with the first one here. So I've got it temporarily taped on there. I'm going to pull. We'll just go like that. Okay, and it's going to stop right about there. So if I lift this up, I've got room for like a few strips of adhesive there, don't I? Let's bring that back. You know what? Bring it back here and do the connecting here. There, ignore what I just said. All of those thoughts were in my head. I'm like, oh, I got to do some mechanical engineering here. Is that mechanical engineering? I don't know. Okay, so we're going to put, now that it's stopped here, that's where it kind of stops. We're going to put our tear and tape again on the surface here, and another one right next to it, like that. So we got two pieces of tape there, and I'm just going to confirm as I pull this over. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so let's take and peel these off. Push them down, grab the backings off. So yeah, you want to have it in closed position. There, we'll just say it that way. Closed position means you're going to have the tape all the way to the side that you want it to be when you close the card. Okay, so I want it there. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to connect right on top of the tape so it lines up with that slit. And it's centered as much as possible in this section. Okay, now let's pull that. Okay, do you see how that works? So it pulls real easily, but it pulls easier if we have one on the other side. So now let's take and flip this piece over. So we're going to go this way, and we're going to do the same thing to this side. So I now need to connect some strips over here. It's in the closed position, so I'm going to put my adhesive right next to that slit that we made in the card. Just a couple pieces will do. It will help stabilize it. In fact, I think I have 3 on my other one. So this one might open wider because I have less tape here. Not sure. We'll find out. Won't that be fun? So it's in the closed position, and now I'm going to go right next to this again. Make sure everything's lined up and centered. And now watch. So as you pull one, the other one moves too. Okay, it's just connected with that cellophane bag. Super cool. And the reason why it's not doing this when you have the card going on is because you have the layer on top and you have the layer on bottom. Let's do some decorating though before we actually put this together. Now I want my, because you can decide that after you're done doing this step. I want my card to open up so that this piece is on the top. If I had it this way, my right hand piece would be on the bottom. So you can decide that after you've assembled this section. So this is going to be my up and down and my right and left. Let's add these. Actually, we're going to add these first because they're so narrow. Let's put them together in front of us and grab a strip of the Stamp and Seal down the back side. Okay, and then we'll take and put one here, showing just a little bit of white, and one here, showing just a little bit of white. I forgot to look up. The sound is okay? I hope so. I'm scrolling back. Thumbs up. Oh, thank you. I should have looked up right away. Oh, you sound fine. Thank you. Yay, 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 yay. Okay. All right. Don't ask questions if you don't want answers. Now we're going to go ahead and put these pieces down. So I'm just adding a little seal here because we want the floral side to show. That's something too. When you have a patterned paper, there may be an up and a down to the paper. So check that. This one does not necessarily have an up and a down, but I do kind of want to have like the most flowers to the one side or the other. You know what I mean? Like I think this would look better over here because this side isn't going to show. And I think this one will look better like that. So here we go. So that just goes right next to it, overlapping but showing that stitching just somewhat because I really like the stitching that is on there. Isn't that pretty? And then this one can go on here. And this is where we might have to trim. Rachel, you messed up a little bit. That's okay. Because this probably should have gone down beforehand. We might have to make this smaller. Seriously, this has been my last couple of weeks. Okay, so we're just going to go like that, and we're going to trim it just a tad in where it's not going to come out all the way. Just to there. That works. None of this is going to show. It's not going to pull out. So just crank it back, stick it down. Solve that problem. Yay! Okay, now let's close that back up. Let's do our connecting of our pieces. This is where dimensionals come in handy. So our front piece is going to go here. Let's go ahead and put our dimensionals in the corners. And we'll put one in the middle for stabilization, like that. Peel off the backings. Isn't this fun now, you guys, how this is coming together? So easy, right? Line up your black over the top of your white. Try not to get my head in the camera. Okay, so there's that. Flip it over. Do the same thing with your other white piece. Like this. So the dimensionals just help to let that cellophane bag and the tab pieces move freely. Protects it too, you know. So this gets lined up on the back side like that. They're all the same pieces, so as long as they're the same pieces, they should work. Okay, so now we have our sliding mechanism working. So awesome. And then just the decorations on it. So let's go ahead and add these in there. We'll just put some seal on the back side of each of our ovals. You can see that on my finished one here, I've got the congratulations to the right, And you want to pull it out all the way, and look at it did, because I had an extra strip of tear and tape that I used when I put this one together. I had 3 strips going across on the cellophane bag instead of 2. So that's why this one's opening up a little bit wider, and it's about a tear and tape width wider. Crazy. So that goes there, and this goes here, and you center it as it's sitting open. Okay, then we'll take and we'll put this piece on next. That goes on the front, layered on top of our black with a nice even border. This piece now can be up on dimensionals because of the way we did our little artwork on the top. And you want to have your dimensionals kind of going in and out on some areas because we want even the inside sections to be lifted. So go heavy on your dimensionals on this layer. Don't refrain. Do a Nancy. In case Nancy watches this later, or if she's watching now. I love you, Nancy. You dimensional lover, you. All right, peeling those all off. And then the last step is just the fun embellishments. Gosh, there's a lot of dimensionals on here. They're sticking to my hands. Holy cow. So again, try to be right on top of it as you put that layer down. So awesome how that stamp apparatus helped us to line everything up. Let's bring in our fun little gold pieces here, and we're adding a big one in the middle of that, a big one in the middle of this one, and we'll do a smaller one in this one here. This is such a fun card, you guys. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so clean up my desk. There's the done and the closed and the open of that card. So fun. It's a card that is well worth trying, even if you don't want to mass produce them for weddings or Christmas or birthdays or whatever. It's totally worth giving it a go because once you do 1 or 2, it gets pretty darn simple. I've done these in the past. I don't know if I have any blog posts or YouTube videos or anything like that that I can refer to for past ones that I've done. But when I got these other 2 fun projects recently, I was just like, you know what? I got to do this again. I have to because it's easier than you think it is, right? Okay, thank you so much for watching. Now I'm going to turn it over to Trisha because Trisha, I asked in the beginning if she could pick a winner from our past video, which was 2 weeks ago. Again, sorry for being late. Let me show you the prize that we had for the winners from last week. And we always have 3 because we do 2 live winners during the live, and then we do a prize winner for the after live comments. So if you go into a video afterwards and you comment, you have an extra chance of being a prize winner again. So that winner today is going to receive a pack of dimensionals and a pack of the in color jewels. Such a pretty embellishment. The winners for today's live are going to get some new products. These products just debuted, and one of them I'm still waiting for from my UPS driver. My UPS driver, I just ordered some more yesterday, and so whoever Trisha picks today for the 2 live winners, those 2 winners are, they're going to have to wait because I don't have it all yet. Okay, so let me show you what the winners today will get. So this is normally 12 by 12, but I cut a pack down to 6 by 6 and I split it into 2. So one winner is going to get a half a pack of the beautifully penned celebration papers. And then in addition, the winner is also going to get to pick from one of these new products. We have some new shimmer ribbon. I believe it's cherry cobbler. Metallic ribbon it's called. Cherry cobbler and gold metallic ribbon. And then we also have the black and white gingham ribbon. So those are the 2 new ribbons, and then a pack of the Brush Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. So the winners again, Trisha's going to pick 2, and I'm not sure if she has yet. I have to scroll like that, I think. But the 2 live winners, they're going to get a half a pack of this paper, which I'm waiting for still. I only got 1 half pack ready to go. And then your choice of the new embellishment. So, and maybe she's already called out winners, but she didn't tag me. Let me scroll back real quick. Oh, she did. The live winner from 2 weeks ago is Lady Michael. Yes, Michael, way to go. So Michael is the winner for the pack of dimensionals and the, oh, and then thank you, Trisha. Oh, you're so on. I don't know how you time it. But anyways, so the winners today, so again, Lady Michael got the dimensionals and then the in-color jewels. And Leilani and Noreen, congratulations to Leilani and Noreen. You get to choose. So reach out to me with my email. My email address is stampyourartout@comcast.net. Make sure that you reach out to me, especially if there's a choice of prizes. The first email that comes through that picks gets the one that they want. But give me 2 choices, because what if you're the second person that emails? So let me know your first and second in order. But yeah, wasn't that fun? I just love sharing, and I hope that you enjoyed this card. Trying to think if there's anything else that I was going to share with you. Next week I will go live. I have projects in mind. It's just, seriously, it was the lack of time this last week. So thank you for joining. Next week is August 11th. So Wednesday at 11 a.m. on August 11th. That's 2 11s. 8/11/21 at 11. Be back at my channel, please. Watch me on my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the like button. Subscribe if you have not been subscribed yet. I would love it if you do that, because then you get notifications for when I go live. I think that's it. I just want to keep on hanging out with you guys. So I'll let you go. Take care, everyone. And I feel like I'm missing something. The new catalog, make sure that you're aware that the new catalog has begun. And celebration, where is that? Has begun. So any products that you're seeing today that you want to get, every $50 order gets you a pick from this. It's a great time. I'm going to let you all go. Take care, everyone. Oh, I know what it is. Hang on. This is it. There. I felt weird saying goodbye as a miniature me. Now I'll say goodbye. Okay, take care, everyone. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.